be all about my current everyday foundation routine. The foundation that I've been using the last couple of weeks every single day has been Bourjois Air Mat foundation. I bought this at my local Shoppers Drug Mart. I was actually waiting for the NARS Matte Velvet Skin Tint, even though it costs $57 in Canada, which really hurts my soul. I'm waiting for the NARS to come to my Sephora and it hasn't come yet, so in the meantime, I saw this, kind of caught my eye, and this was $29, which is significantly cheaper than the NARS. The color match, pretty decent. I got number 02 Vanilla. This foundation claims to have an undetectable matte finish and 24-hour hold. Now, I cannot attest to the 24-hour hold because I don't think I've spent 24 hours wearing foundation ever. It does have very decent lasting power on the skin, and it does have a very undetectable matte finish. This is a very light foundation on the skin. You don't feel it on the skin at all. It's almost like a more matte version of Chanel Vitalumiere Aqua. Another awesome thing is that this does not need a powder to set. It kind of sets itself. It just has a very nice soft matte finish. It's not a dead matte look because it doesn't have that much coverage. It doesn't look like a mask when you put it on the skin. So the medium coverage and the matte finish just gives you a really nice base, and it's the perfect foundation for me during the work week. It lasts me through my entire work day. The foundation that I was using for work before that was the Marc Jacobs Remarkable foundation, and while that foundation has amazing coverage and a really nice finish, that foundation for some reason does not last in the center of my face. It just disappears from my nose and chin by the end of the day, and this one doesn't do that, which is nice. Anyway, now let's get into the routine. So the first step is prepping the skin. What I've been using every single morning to prep my under eye area has been the Kat Burki. This is the Intense Recovery Eye Serum. I love this stuff. I've mentioned it in a recent video. It's very light. It hydrates the under eye area, and it just really helps refine the texture. I use this morning and night, so it sinks in really quickly, doesn't leave a greasy residue or anything. And then this morning in particular, I use the Emma Hardie. This is the Fancy Schmancy Midas Touch Face Serum. I don't use this every single morning. Sometimes I just use a light moisturizer, whatever I have on hand. But if my skin is feeling a little bit blah, I like to kind of amp it up a little bit with something like this. This is a very hydrating, lightweight serum, sinks into the skin super quickly. Then on the areas where I need a little bit more of a refined texture, I've been using the Too Faced Primed and Poreless Primer, and I've just been using this in the center of my face. This goes on really nicely, makes everything look super smooth, but I don't think this actually does anything in terms of helping the foundation last longer. It does create a nicer, more even canvas for foundation, but it does not really help my foundation last longer. So once my face is nice and primed, I go in with foundation. I apply a pretty generous amount of it on the back of my hand first, and then I just start dotting it all over my face, focusing on the areas where I need the most coverage. And then I go in with a very big buffing foundation brush. The one that I'm using is by Marc Jacobs. This is the biggest foundation brush I own, and I use this most of the time in the morning because I just kind of want to get it over with, and this big brush gets the job done a lot quicker. You can use any brush by Real Techniques, or the Sigma F80 brush does a really nice job with this as well. I'm just reaching for the Marc Jacobs right now because it's a very sturdy, high quality brush, and it just applies foundation super fast. I did try using it with a beauty blender, but when I use a beauty blender, I feel like I lose a lot of coverage. It just gets too sheer for me, and right now I do want a more solid medium coverage. So once I buff in my foundation, everything is nice and locked in. Like I mentioned before, this foundation pretty much sets itself. I don't need to use a separate setting powder. For my under eye area, the concealer combination that I've been using is the Clarins Instant Concealer and the Onomie Bright Concealing Elixir. I just find that together they really make a nice under eye area. I'm trying to use both of them up, and I found that together they actually work really well. So I apply that, tap it in with my ring finger underneath my eyes, and then I like to set that area with a powder. The Laura Mercier Secret Brightening Powder, this is just really good, and it's funny because when I first bought it, I didn't really like it that much, but the more I use it, the more I enjoy it. And I used to think that I wouldn't repurchase it, but now I think I'm going to repurchase it because I really like it. And then the base is pretty much done. Then the next step would be just adding a little bit of definition to the face, and I have really been enjoying the Kevyn Aucoin sculpting powder. And the key to applying this is the right brush. When I first started using this, I was using the Real Techniques contour brush to apply it, and I really did not like the effect. I found it really harsh. But I've since switched to using a Wayne Goss number 12 brush. That brush is amazing. It is super soft. It picks up just the right amount of color, and it just deposits a really beautiful soft contour. You can blend it out really nicely. And then I go in with blush, and the blush I've been using recently is the blush that looks like a boob, and it's the Charlotte Tilbury blush in the color First Love. Soft, peachy blush. And then sometimes I do like to add a little bit of an extra highlight if I'm feeling like I need a little bit of glow, and my powder highlighter of choice has been the Laura Mercier. This is an amazing highlighter. It's so finely milled, and it's not like an in-your-face type of highlight. And that is it. I don't use anything else. Sometimes I will use a setting mist, but I really can't tell a difference with those things. So that has been my foundation routine every single day throughout the week. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, please feel free to put it below. And I will see you in my next video. Bye.